Welcome back. This is the morning show right here on ETV. Now, young black women are making their mark in the sciences and are launching success careers in male-dominated STEM fields. Dr. Sindisiwe Buthelezi is one such woman, and she's a scientific researcher at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Her work will ensure that people receive safe and effective treatments and ultimately help improve their quality of life. Now, she joins us on the couch to tell us more about her background and her work. Doc, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
A pleasure having you. Let's talk about your journey into this field, which is quite male-dominated, I think, still in South Africa. When did you realize that this is the field that you wanted to be in?
I've always liked biology. So I wasn't really sure at matric like what I wanted to do, and my brother actually went and just checked different careers that involved biology, and he found microbiology for me.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate that a dean at UKZN, when I was doing my undergrad, advised me to also take biochemistry as well, and then I actually grew to love that more than my first major. And then after that, I mean, after honors year, when I observed my field, I actually realized that, okay, I actually have to take this stream for me to be able, for my voice to be heard. Yeah.
And what does your job then entail? What are your day-to-day activities?
So I work on different projects. So I also interact with several clients, but mainly I'm in proteomics, which is the study of proteins. So what we do is we try to find potential drug targets that are relevant to the South African population, or we know that we import most of our drugs.
Right.
So we also try to see, like, for our population, are those drugs actually effective for us? Yeah. So yeah, it's various projects. We're collaborating with excellent researchers from Wits University, University of Pretoria, and actually around the country, because we provide a service called mass spectrometry analysis, which is how we actually identify those target proteins. Right. So that means that anyone who's working with anything in the proteomics or protein sphere, they come to us, and then we just provide that service.
Now, I mentioned before that your field is quite male-dominated. What have been some of the challenges that you've also incurred in achieving your career, and also what do you think contributes to those challenges?
I think for me, then this is just a personal experience. I was very fortunate because I joined the CSIR when I was really young, when I was 21. I started as an intern there. So I've been quite sheltered in that term, and I've been mentored very well. But I had encounters where you have to, obviously, when a person sees you the first time, you do get a bit undermined, but then you have to just prove yourself a bit. But in terms of the work that I do, I've been really fortunate. They've been really supportive. And in terms of numbers, we're definitely not there. But I am really excited about the generation after me. There's I'm co-supervising a young lady. She's doing her PhD, and there's two other ladies that I'm mentoring as well. So there are lots of upcoming women scientists. Right. So I think the future is definitely female.
It is female indeed, and we're so excited that you are actually one of the leading examples to show that it is possible if you put your mind to it and you make your effort in it. Definitely it can be achieved. But what would your advice then be to young girls, because we want them to be our future? What would your advice be to them for any young girls who want to be scientists or in scientific fields, but also are incurring some of those access to barriers to access, like funding for education, or perhaps even maybe they didn't take any STEM subjects in high school, so they're finding it difficult in varsity to adjust? What would some of your advice be?
So for me, my mom and dad had to sit me down when I finished matric because they couldn't afford to take me to university. And I was like, okay, I understand. And I was funded by NSFAS, so they covered my undergrad. So, I would just advise, just go for it. And just seek for, I called people who had done microbiology, who had gone through varsity, because and they advised me about possible loans and NSFAS. And there was actually a guy at UKZN who used to watch me because I used to run after every break to the funding office and try to sort that out. He was like, "You're so short, maybe I should just buy you a bicycle." So my advice would be just go for it.
Go for it.
Just go for it. Don't overthink it. If you really want it to happen,
yeah, it can definitely happen.
It can happen.
And also just, you know, for interest's sake, I mean, how is the quality of, you know, our research, scientific research in South Africa? I mean, how far do you think we've come as a country?
Oh, we are world standard. Because one of our KPIs, we have to travel overseas to present our work. And we are just right there with them. We obviously have a long way to go, like in terms of us developing our own drugs. We still have a long way to go there because like as a developing country, we have challenges in terms of delivering drugs to deep rural areas.
Right.
So when you import a drug, maybe from a developed world, you have to think that we have cold chain challenges. And maybe in the deep rural, they don't have fridges.
Right.
And that was like my PhD project where I was trying to stabilize a drug so that it can sit at 4 degrees rather than requiring -20. So it's all of those things that we are still working towards, where we have to tailor make the important imported drugs for our needs. And our unique problems that might not necessarily be even an issue that was considered in the developed world.
And what would you then advise also be to the government or even different stakeholders in terms of raising awareness around, you know, information in science? Because, you know, sometimes young students also complain that the information is not brought to them. They live in rural areas, as you mentioned, and they can't always travel to the cities, to college or universities to get career guidance. But how can we further amplify the information so that it reaches everyone? And who knows, maybe our next best scientist could be somewhere, but, you know, they have that challenge of not accessing the right, you know, information, maybe because of even the digital divide of not being able to access a smartphone or a computer to go to the internet.
There has actually been quite a few initiatives to cover that. So at the CSIR, we have a dedicated human capital development department where they actually do travel to various cities. And when I was starting at the CSIR, I also went to the Eastern Cape as well, where we told them about physics and like the different careers in science. And you guys are also doing a great job in spreading the word. But definitely there's still a whole lot to be done because it sounds very far-fetched at the moment. So we need to explain it in such a way that they understand that you can also do it.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sindisiwe Buthelezi, for your time. I appreciate you coming. All right, then, well, there you have it. Another woman, of course, inspiring the greater South Africa to make sure they go get their dreams, but also saying that the field is open for you aspiring scientists out there. Come in, don't be shy, do not be intimidated. Do not be intimidated by the jargon that, oh, it's science, it's only for smart people. You are the smart one that we've been waiting for. So go out there and get the information and make sure that you contribute through your